Yes,
Well,
they
no,
did. And
the court ruling today was that a trans woman isn't a woman.
Well, if you just want to rewind what I just said to you and explain to you clearly, what the Supreme Court was explaining was the literal interpretation of the Equality Act is that woman is biological. They were not at all saying that a trans woman is not a woman. And I think that's really important for all those trans women out there that may be finding it difficult to interpret the news, interpret the law. It's difficult, it's challenging, but trans women are most definitely women. And actually, if you read the ruling...
The law disagrees with you, and so does biology. I mean, can I ask you, seriously, Helen, if legally your position isn't recognised and biologically it isn't, then what supports your position? Is it pure ideology?
So the ruling makes 38 references to trans woman. So why would they use that terminology if a trans woman wasn't a woman? What would they say?
The issue at hand. I mean, that's a standard part of a legal issue.
A trans woman is a woman, and if you read the ruling closely, it actually points out that trans women can claim sex discrimination because she's perceived to be a woman. So this does not give people the automatic right to start banning trans women from female spaces unless there is an absolute reason. And the two reasons that people have put forward to me that I can identify with are, for example, rape crisis centres, where the women in there may feel particularly at threat of other people in that. And then they've talked about lesbian groups, of course, understanding that you can have lesbian trans women. So we've got to be really careful.
I had the director of Scottish Lesbians in earlier on who said actually lesbians have been some of the most put upon people in all this debate because men were given legal rights to go into lesbian spaces, which no lesbian wants. Can I talk to you about...
I don't think I've ever met a man who wants to go into a lesbian space, to be fair.
Well, I don't want to get into that. Can I get back onto a serious point about children and hormones, puberty blockers, something which you advocated for yourself? Today, the ruling said biological sex is the definition of sex, chromosomal sex. Where does that leave people like yourself who advocate for giving puberty blockers to children? If the law says you can't change sex, where does that leave the process of giving...
The law does not say that you can't change sex. And the ruling did not say that
acknowledges
trans women are not
biological
women.
sex as supreme. That's what the law said today.
Well, that's your interpretation of it. What the law said today was that the Equality Act definition is biological woman. And they do not define what biological woman is. That question has to be answered, because there's going to be some other pretty upset people out there who haven't got the genitalia and body parts that I just talked about, or the chromosomes that I talked about. And they're going to be going, well, what about us? We are women too. And I think the biggest point in all of this is that we do not discriminate against minority groups.